Welcome to Nice Finance. If you're reading the title, you already know what this video is about.
Thank you for calling Zillow. How can I help you?
Yes, how you doing? I'm looking into purchasing a 3-bedroom house.
Alrighty, what's your budget?
300,000.
That's diabolical.
The number one way to know that you can't afford a house is if your loan officer keeps telling you that rates are gonna go down and that you can refinance to get a lower payment. Today, I just had a phone call. This is the second phone call I've had in the last 5 calendar days from someone that wanted to refinance because they made their 6 payments that the loan officer said that they needed to make so they could get a lower rate. There is no lower rate to be had. This guy gets on the phone and says, hey, I need to get a lower payment. My payment is too high. I said, well, how much do you need to lower your payment by? He says, by like $700 a month. I said, sir, did you know that you needed your payment to be $700 less when you signed your name on the dotted line for the house? He says, yes. That's when I became very apologetic because I knew he had been had. Loan officers should never make promises or guarantees that someone can get a better payment or a lower payment because we have no idea what the rates are going to go down to. Yes, we did expect interest rates to come down, but for him to be successful in his venture, interest rates would have to be in the 4s. Unfortunately, I don't know what he's going to end up doing, but again, like I said, this is the second person in 5 days I had the same exact apologetic conversation with because I'm apologizing on behalf of one of my colleagues that's somewhere that was overzealous and needed a commission. No tea, no shade, y'all. I be saying this, we are salespeople. So I'm telling you right now, if you can't afford the payment the way that it is when you sign up for it, put the house back.
So we've been on a journey looking for a house, and as everyone has already discussed, it is insanely expensive. Now, I'm born and raised Houston, Texas. So is my wife, Houston, Texas. And so what we used to be able to get out here for, a modest $300,000, which down here was like middle class, almost upper middle class, just 5-6 years ago, pretty much all of our lives being here. Now, when we look at like the landscape of that, it ain't hitting like it was supposed to hit. Like the numbers not adding up no more based upon what people want for a $300,000 house now. So like what we deemed something that we wanted for ourselves is like an arm, a leg, a kidney, and maybe a lung. Like it's insanely expensive. And Texas didn't used to be like that. And I get it. People coming from other states, transplanting here because it's outside of the politics to raise a family in Houston, Texas. Statewide, but Houston, Texas is great, but it is insanely expensive. And so, looking at the economic policies that Kamala Harris is putting forward, particularly regarding first-time home buyers, like it's not just that we like Kamala, like it's policies that would help us. Trying to build 3 million new homes during her term, we learned the simple economics in 5th, 6th grade. So it's a supply and demand thing. So we need to build more. Also, we need some money. I still to this moment don't get it, but in order to get a mortgage loan, baby, you got to put some skin in the game. They want some cash money from you to even give you the loan, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I can get a credit card from you, which is essentially money from you as well. You don't need any money. You just need to know my credit score to see how much you want to, approve me. I can get a line of credit on my business. Again, I don't have to put any money down to get it. But in order for me to get a home loan, which you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of me anyway in the interest that I pay over the course of the loan, to you, I still got to put some money down just to get the loan. So with her advocating and saying that she has a policy to give first-time home buyers $25,000, that's huge. That could literally be all of your closing costs right there. So you can walk into the home without having to tap into the savings account. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is, yes, we're here for her. We're here, freedom, moving forward, all the things. That's one of the policies that a lot of my millennial peers personally. So yeah, we ride it down for Kamala Harris. What is you saying?
I don't know if what you looking for is going to happen, homie. Her main slogan is, we are not going back. And I don't think we're going back to affordable, low-cost housing. You see, Amazon has Boxel, however you say that. The future is you living in a pod. The future is you living in a box. It's a shortage of everything now.
Is difficult. The American dream, some people say, is vanishingly hard to grasp. But
History is repeating itself all over again. In fact, you can turn back the clock to 1979 when CBS News reported on a young family in Chicago who were struggling to buy a home.
Mike and Sandy Suter would like to buy a new house bigger and closer to their jobs. They can afford a down payment. What they can't afford are current mortgage rates. So they've quit looking.
This house, if I were to buy it today, would probably cost me another $195 a month more just to buy this equivalent house. And the difference in interest rate, that put me right out of the market.
Today's average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.3%, which people are howling about because it's like double what it was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, I miss the 2-3% days.
Yeah, long gone. But
Yeah.
in 1979, it was 11%.
Wild.
I want you to look at these comments. You see the mind games they trying to play with you, right? 11% on a 60K mortgage is way different than 6.5% on a 450K mortgage. You see how it's way different, right? 11% by houses were 45K in 1979, not 600K. Oh, housing is so unattainable now. And just, again, did you catch that? He wasn't buying a house, he was buying another house closer to work.
I started looking at houses for rent and I realized it's cheaper to get along with my family members, guys. It is cheaper to get along with my family members than to rent.
Homegirl got the right idea. Plus, she's from the motherland, so she already knows what's up. This whole American system of you gotta boss up at 18, we kicking you out, and then you gotta pay for elderly healthcare services and send them somewhere to a home health aid where you got women or, guys in that situation. I don't want to say too much. They don't like their lives. They not paying them too much, and they out here beating up on your grandma or on your elderly mother or father or whatnot. The American system here is just so different, so perverted, where versus us just all being together, living under one same roof, putting up with each other. We at each other's throats because we want to compete versus just getting along. Forgive me for reusing this, but I just want to reference the image map that's up here, the income a family needs. You see, like, just Google it. Just look at the states and how much you need to affordably have the income that your family needs. This is ridiculous. And the average income is below all of this. It's supposed to be, 50, 60, 40,000. If you look at this list and you are below that, God help us all.
I'm going to hit you with a little fun fact that you're probably not ready for. It is really crazy how unattainable buying a house is. I'm going to hit you with a little fun fact that you're probably not ready for, okay? Over 50% of the people that I have helped this year buy houses have had some kind of help, whether it is a cosigner, whether it is a gift of some kind. It's not anything to be embarrassed of. It's simply how hard it is to buy a house right now. That you have to. For it to make any kind of sense, for it to even be possible. Have y'all not seen the new Zillow commercial where they're saying it's the 3 roommates now? They all wanted to buy a house. They could each get pre-approved for like $150,000, whatever. And so they went in on a house together. Did you see that commercial? And they're talking about how they're trying to normalize that. It's not normal that you should have to have roommates as a 30-something-year-old adult just to buy a house if you're not married. That's not normal. On a $500,000 house, even if you put down $60,000, you're not even getting to conventional. You're still FHA. Sweet baby Jesus. Like having these conversations with my dad, and my dad is even going, wow, like it really is so damn hard to buy a house. And that's sad. And it shouldn't be like that. So that's my little rant. It sucks to buy a house right now. Don't think that just because I'm a realtor and I'm selling it and I'm doing it every single day that like I'm happy about it and no. I hate that Zillow is trying to normalize having roommates as a grown-ass adult. That's how unrealistic the housing market is.
Where that's going to be the new norm. I mean, they saying that's the new norm, but even then it's going to get even crazier. Everybody used to talk about where it was like 15 people living under one roof. It's going to go back to those times. That's if you actually want to own a house, that they're going to make it so debonair and demure. I live in my car. I live in this pod. It's going to be pod influencers. It's going to be cardboard box influencers. I live on the street. I just pack up my box and I go.
Being a single person in America in 2024. I do not recommend it to anyone. I am about to just find a man off the side of the road who looks like he has money, suck it up and marry him just so that I can I have $33,000 that I have saved up over the course of 10 months. And when I tell my friends who are in relationships and they have partners they're married to who they've bought homes with, when I tell them I have that much money saved up, they're like, oh my God, you got this. You're good to go. You don't get it. I am having to pay this mortgage payment every month by myself. I'm having to get pre-approved by myself with one income. You and I are not playing the same game. I know it's hard for y'all who are couples trying to buy homes. Now imagine being single. I just finished grad school, okay? And before y'all get in my comments saying you shouldn't have gone to school, you're right. But I am passionate about this career and I just want to make a difference in people's lives. Kill me, okay? So I'm in the process of getting pre-approved for a mortgage loan. And they ask me, you know, what is your monthly repayment for your student loans? And I go to the financial aid website and I see an option for income-driven repayments, and it says I'd probably owe about $48 a month. That is totally doable, and I'd probably pay back more each month just to get it, you know, paid off more quickly. And then I see the little notice at the top of the page. The income-driven save plan for student loans has been blocked by who? The U.S. Supreme Court, of course. So I don't get income-driven repayments right now. So I go to see what my actual monthly repayment is. And mind you, my student loan amount is not that high. It's nothing obscene. I owe $748 more. There's no way. I am in my late 20s, living at my parents', lived there for 2 years. I've been working full-time while in school, mind you. I've paid off my old car loan that I was upside down on. I've been driving around a clunker that I paid for with cash. I never buy anything for myself. Ever. I don't do anything. I literally go to work and then I go for walks. Like, that's all I do. I've been putting $3,000 aside every single month since last November. Like, I've been doing this, okay? And yet it still gets me nowhere. Like, I'm looking for houses and every single house is at least $200,000 and they need a ton of work. Like, it just feels like I am running on a hamster wheel. Not trying to be dramatic, but it is just so exhausting. I am doing everything I'm supposed to. I'm paying off debt. I'm living well below my means. Yet I still feel like I'm exactly where I was 4 years ago. Maybe even worse. Like, I still feel poor, even if I'm not. And I can bitch and moan all I want, but this is the reality. This is the state of our world. It's so hard. And as single people, how?
You're not working hard enough. You're not pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. You know what? You said you just go to work and you go on walks. I want you to sell those and just eat tuna. That's the information that Dave Ramsey III would probably tell this young cat right here. We're definitely living in a society where people don't want to say the quiet part out loud. We're still looking at people going to the stadiums, people still quote unquote doing good. When you have the whole populace, not just some people, but the whole populace out here complaining, moaning and groaning. Hell, even some of the people that was doing good, when they finally, you know, something happens, because they going to the games now, but what's going to happen in the next 5 years from now? The next year, things happen. Does everyone want to act like that the money that they have now, that their account can't get locked out, things can't get stolen, the banks can't defraud or defunct, the dollar just can't tank? It's so many anomalies out here where you just got to be careful and just pray and just be weary of what happens. Because, I mean, 1 minute you can be up, next minute you can be down. And the same way you can be down, you can be up. But just got to be watching, got to be mindful of your situations and things that's going on out here. All of this is for journalism purposes only.
If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing, sharing the video, and giving it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.